Alright guys, today I really wanted to talk on how wrong I was about Street Fighter 6. And I've just got some footage from, I think his name is Uses. It's like a replay channel in the UK, I think he's in. So I just got his footage in the background watching it whilst I'm reacting to this, but I wanted to say how wrong I was about Street Fighter 6. Basically, everything I said about Street Fighter 6 was wrong. When I initially saw it, my expectations had been shattered, and not in a good way. I didn't think it looked good at all. I didn't like the style choice. And then I went to EGX, which is in the UK, the European Gaming Expo, and I got a chance to play it. And it was so much fun that I couldn't pry myself away from the controller as much as I wanted to, and I spent way too much time over there playing it. And then I actually decided to take an interest and look into Street Fighter 6 and revise some of the things that I thought about it initially. And as I said, I'm happy to say I was completely wrong. So I'll start with the first thing. Visually, in person, it looks so much better than what it does on YouTube. Like, YouTube is not doing it justice. Even if you're watching a 4K video, it's really not doing it justice. It looks great. Like, it's leaps and bounds better than Street Fighter 5. Obviously leaps and bounds better than Street Fighter 4, very dated now. Street Fighter 3 still holds up, but that sort of art style is always going to hold up. But objectively speaking, this is the best looking Street Fighter. Well, not objectively speaking, but in my opinion. Secondly, I was wrong about the mechanics. I thought the mechanics were all over the place, and I played it, and the game's mechanics all complement each other really well. So you've got the FADC thing where you see those green like paint things that appear on the characters, and those can pretty much be done from almost anything, any sort of normal. You can do like a low, medium, and then press forward and cancel it into a longer combo, which is a much easier way than the FADC in Street Fighter 4, which, you know, you had to press 2 buttons and then dash forward twice, I think, and that was much harder, and the timing on it was a little bit more difficult. This is a little bit easier, and it feels a lot nicer in my opinion. Much quicker for me to get to grips with the way you do it on there than what I was doing before in Street Fighter 4. So there's that. The parries, when I initially saw them, I thought, man, that's going to be a bit overpowered. I'm guessing it's not forward, and it wasn't. You press 2 buttons to parry in this. But the parries have a fair amount of recovery on them. Now, as far as I'm aware, they do start up in 1 frame, but they've got a fair few frames of recovery on them, which I thought was interesting. And I also thought the other interesting thing was that when you get a perfect parry, the damage that you then get on a combo after that is heavily scaled. So I thought that was a little bit weird, but the game's not fully finished yet, so maybe that's going to be rectified going forward, because the damage that you get from the focus attack thing that they've got in this, I don't know what it's called, drive rush or drive impact, something like that, the damage doesn't really get scaled on that. So I don't know if that's like a deliberate design choice, but again, I only got so much time with the game. I also think the drive impact, or the focus attack thing at the corner, it seemed a bit overpowered initially, but the more you play the game and you get used to seeing the paint sparks, the more you just sort of get used to it. It didn't seem as bad after a while. It didn't seem like people could get away with spamming it. I don't think you're going to be able to get away with spamming it against a good player, and I'm not good at Street Fighter 6, obviously. It's not even out yet, and I was able to deal with it quite well. The best way to deal with that, in my opinion, is just to do another drive impact back to them, because it absorbs their one and there's literally nothing that they can do. It's a better option than parry, in my opinion, because you get your health back when they hit their drive impact on you, because obviously there's hyper armor on it, or super armor, or whatever. So that mechanic seemed fine to me. What else have they got in there? There's 3 specials now per character. Some have additional ones, like Chun-Li can do her specials in the air, so it's not a different special, but it's a variation of it. And honestly, I really like it because it gives you this like separation from meter that is required for the system and meter that is required for your character specific supers. So I thought that was really cool, because it just means more resources at hand for you, more of a chance for you to do some crazy combos or crazy setups. So I really like that. I thought that was really cool. To be honest with you, there's not going to be much criticism in this video. There is going to be one thing that I criticized, but it's kind of like a personal thing. It's not a big deal. But what else is there? The characters that I played, Ken, Ryu, Chun-Li, and Jamie were the only ones that I played with. and they were all a lot of fun. Ryu was the most fun to me. I think this version of Ryu is by far and large the best version. I guess you could probably say the same thing for Ken as well. I'm not too sure about Chun-Li. Maybe the Chun-Li users can let me know. One thing I did think was interesting about Street Fighter 6 is that the EX fireballs, when they clash with non-EX fireballs, they retain both hits. So if I throw an EX fireball, like say Ryu's one's a 2-hit one, and Ken throws a normal fireball, Ryu's EX fireball will go right through it, hit Ken, and still get 2 hits. Now previously in other Street Fighter games, that was not the case. Most of the time, almost, I think in every situation almost, outside of like random variables with kunais and stuff, if a fireball hits another fireball, one hit marker is gone, I guess. I don't know what the right word to use would be, but it basically becomes a regular fireball. But in this, if your fireball has more hits on it than a normal one, it will just blow right through it, and you know, you'll get both hits, which I thought was an interesting design choice. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with drive impact or the parry and trying to balance out the offense, because there's a lot of ways to defend against fireballs in this. Also thought it was interesting that most things are not plus. If anything, most things are like when you throw out a normal, you lose your turn. That's what it seemed like to me anyway, which I kind of like, because one thing that I really dislike about Mortal Kombat 11 is that there's too many things that are plus, too many things that leave you in situations where you just can't press buttons and you just end up blocking the whole time. And in this game, it really felt like you have your turn and then I have my turn. It didn't feel like I was sitting in block stun for ages, or if I press a button, I'm going to be knocked out of it. Now obviously there's ways around that. That's what drive impact is there for, that's what parries are there for. So there's going to be ways around it, but as you just saw there, Problem X did a perfect parry, which was sick by the way on Angry Bird, and the damage was very low on the punish. And the other thing that I'm really impressed with this game, and I really don't think this gets spoken about enough with fighting games, and it's really important, the music is fantastic. This is some of the best music that I've heard from a Street Fighter game, let alone a fighting game, in a long time. Like, it's genuinely good music, so good that when I go to the gym, I've got most of the soundtrack on in my ear when I'm benching. It's honestly, it's a massive step up from Street Fighter 5. And Street Fighter 5 did start to add some good tunes later in the game's life, but there wasn't anything amazing, you know. It wasn't anything that would really make me go wow, you know. They stepped it up. But Street Fighter 6 is a whole other ball game. The music that's in this game is honestly top notch, and I think music really goes a long way in making a fighting game a lot of fun. You just sit and watch a match when Ryu's theme is playing and tell me that it's not hype. Like, I've seen people standing there dancing along when the game is playing, and that's a good sign. One of the things that I criticized Mortal Kombat 11 about was the music was dog shit, basically. It was as bad as you could get, as non-existent as you could get, and was not memorable at all. And it's a shame, because Mortal Kombat historically, especially the 2D games, it's had some great music. Even the 3D Mortal Kombat games, the ones that were on a 3D playing field, they had very good music. So it was quite disappointing to see that Mortal Kombat 11 went that route. And even Tekken 7, you know, Tekken 7 has the jukebox, so I guess you can fix it yourself, but the Tekken 7 music itself is not amazing. It's got some good tracks, you know. It's got Heat Haze, it's got that moonlit stage, you know, the infinite stage, Infinite Azure. So there's some good stages in there, good music, but overall, kind of a drop off for Tekken in my opinion as well. I don't think Tekken's ever really reached the heights that it did after Tekken 5 in my opinion. Tekken Tag 2 was good, but Tekken 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in my opinion, and Tekken Tag 1, absolutely amazing soundtracks. And same goes for Street Fighter really. Street Fighter's always had good music. It's innovated in some places, but it's kind of played it safe for a while, and I feel like that's what Street Fighter 5 did, but Street Fighter 5 just did it worse. Street Fighter 6 flipped that on its head. So I'm really impressed with the music. I'm really happy that they've put some real effort into it. The only soundtrack I don't like right now is Guile's, and even then it's not that bad. It's like it's okay. The stages have good music as well, which is something that I was worried about, because in this game the music kind of plays at random. Like sometimes Ryu's theme will play, sometimes Ken's theme will play, sometimes the stage theme will play, so it's always at random. But they even smashed it with the stage themes. Now all they need to nail really is the online. If they can get the online down and there's not the Street Fighter 5 situation that we had before, then this game is going to do extremely well. I haven't really seen anyone saying anything negative about it. It's pretty much hit the nail on the head for everything. The replay system seems to be back intact the way Street Fighter 5 did it, which was one of the best things about Street Fighter 5, that they really got the replay system down perfectly. It's something that I hope Mortal Kombat and Tekken pick up on in their next installments, but I won't get my hopes up. And that's it really. Those are my thoughts on Street Fighter 6 right now. I think that they're doing an amazing job. Now, I guess my only criticism of the game is obviously the roster got leaked. There's no M. Bison. You guys know I'm an M. Bison player, so I'm a bit disappointed in that. I get it, he was killed, but that's the thing that I don't like about fighting game stories. When characters get killed off, they don't tend to return until maybe a couple games down the line, which is disappointing for me. But I'll find a new character. I heard JP's got psycho power and a teleport, so we'll see. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Street Fighter 6. So I want to take back everything I said because I was very harsh. And I was wrong. I'm happy to say I was wrong. I'm really excited for the game. And I hope the next character reveal comes soon, because it's been a little while now since we've had a trailer. I think the last one we got had E Honda, Ken, Dhalsim in it. Which again, good additions. Kimberly is a great addition to the game. I didn't think she was going to be, so I'm pleasantly surprised about that. And just the general changes to the characters and how many moves they have and all the things that you can do now and all the options. It doesn't feel limited at all. It feels like player expression is back. And again, the game's not even out yet, and I only played it for a couple of hours, and I felt like the way I was playing was different from the other Ryus that I was playing against, which was really nice, because when I played Street Fighter 5, it felt like everything that I could do was done on day one, and it's been like that since day one, really. So that's all I gotta say really, guys. I'll keep you updated now that my recording equipment is working, and hope you're all doing well. Take care and peace.